going on, guys? So got a pretty good review for you guys today. It's going to be a reel review. It'll be my first reel review. I've done 2 rod reviews, and now I'm going to do a Shimano Curado 200 G6 reel review. This is the new line of reels that they have as far as the Curado brand, but they kind of revamped it a little bit, did some new stuff to it. Talk about this box a little bit. The box is even smaller than the traditional reel boxes that have been coming out. They're probably just trying to save some packaging material. So now they have this smaller box. Here are some of the features. You can pause it if you want and look at some of the features if you want to get a closer look. I'm going to talk about most of these features in detail. This video is going to be a little bit longer than normal. I may have to make it into a 2-parter so it'll download correctly, but you'll have to bear with me on that one. And like I said, I'm just trying to put out a good video so you guys can check out all the features of this reel. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, you guys, so like I said, Shimano Curado 200 G6 is what's sitting in front of you. It's the new 2011-2012 model. Go over some of what comes inside the box. It comes wrapped in this bubble wrapped bag, and then you have you have this schematic here, and you turn it over, and it's got all of your part numbers on it. So if you ever need to order anything, you can just get it directly from Shimano. Here's your warranty registration card, and turn it over. Just talks a little bit about the limited warranty, 1 year, free from defects in materials and workmanship. And you open it up. You just fill it all out, send it back to Shimano, and they'll have all your stuff on file if you ever need to redeem that warranty. You have your instruction guide. This is an instruction guide, as you can see, for the G5, G6, G7, and the left-handed versions of the G6 and G7. And it just talks about how to maintenance your reel. Let's see, these are your brake collars. These are the little pads that are basically doing the business of the centrifugal brake system. You can see that there's 6 in there. These are gray in color. The ones that are actually installed on the spool itself are red, as you'll see here in a couple minutes. These are just some extra ones. You'll definitely want to keep these because when you're out there adjusting them, they may come off. I've had one come off before. I've also heard of having them come off on other people's reels before, and you can lose them very, very easily, so you'll want to keep these for sure. You'll never know when you'll need them. So let's talk about some of the features of the reel. First of all, the Curado green paint that's on here. Now it is that traditional Curado green. The only difference is that on this year's version, from what I'd noticed, it doesn't have a lot of that pearl in it, which is kind of a bummer for me. I liked it, but that's neither here or there. It doesn't seem to have it. It's still very, very shiny. It has a lot of flake in it, so it does shimmer a lot when it's outside. It just doesn't seem to have that paint where it kind of transitions from that green to brown in the light like the other ones does. This one does have, they did away with a lot of the gold accenting features and went to the silver. So this Curado, as you can see, is now in silver. The handle on it is black, and it doesn't have the drilled holes in it anymore. It's just this black, and it's matted, so it actually has a little bit of a texture to it. You have these Septon PV Power R Grip 2s. They're a little bit softer than what you'll find that on the Sitka, but still not really yielding to pressure. But they do feel softer than the ones that come on the Sitka. So these are the PV Power Grips. Let's see, what do we want to talk about on here? The aluminum body. The main body of it is made out of aluminum, like most good reels are. You have the 2 graphite side plates. Says Curado 200 G6 right there on the side, and look at it right there. It says, let's see if I can focus on it, 6.5-to-1 gear ratio. You also have this drag star right here, which Shimano's, they've always seemed to make them out of plastic. I don't really know why, but even on the last year's ones and all the previous ones that I've seen, unless you get into the real early ones, and I wouldn't know any better, but all the ones that I've seen, they make them out of plastic, which is fine. It's not a deal breaker for me. You have an eighth of a turn. Turnkey access is what they call this. So you just flip this little lever right here, and it says VBS, and then you have that closed open arrow, and you just turn it towards the open side, and this thing will just pop open and turn like that. It's pivoted, and then it'll let you access all your centrifugal brakes and just read inside the manual. But just like any centrifugal braking system, you just pop it up one, and then you'll see that it'll brake when it's popped up, and then just push it back down when you don't want it to be on. But you'll make sure you want to use the ones that are opposing each other, or use them in threes. So if you need one brake, just make sure you use two, or else the spool won't run correctly. It'll make a whole bunch of noise inside of there. So run 2, run 3, or run 1, 2, 3, 4 while they're opposing each other, or run all 6. Let's see. This spool is significantly light. Not something that I could really show you in video. You'll just have to check it out in person. Just make sure you feel it before you put the line on there. But it is significantly lighter than other spools. They call it their Magnum light spool, and it is some kind of an alloy. It is very, very light. I like it a lot. Anytime that you can lower the weight on rotating mass, it's a good thing, especially when you're talking about a spool that you're trying to get RPMs up so you can get better casting distance. So, great spool. Cool thing about this thing is they have this supported bearing pinion design in here. You can see the pinion in there, and when you engage the clutch bar, you can see how that thing pushes back in there, just like all the bait casting reels do. The great thing about this, though, is that, as you can hear if you listen closely, you see how you hear how you don't hear anything? That's because that thing is supported by a bearing. And the fact that it's supported by a bearing just makes the overall reel that much smoother. As you know, with a lot of other reel manufacturers, they don't support that bearing. They support the pinion, but they don't support it by like a bearing that's in there like this one does. So when you take the spool out, that thing gets all off center. So when you turn this thing, it makes a whole bunch of noise, and it's really not good for the pinion because it rubs up against the ring gear, and it's just not good mojo to go in there and do that. So usually it's not a good thing to turn that thing a whole lot without the spool in there. But this thing, it's not going to make much of a difference because of the fact that it is supported by a bearing, which is a great deal. 7.2 ounces is what this Curado weighs. It is very, very light. It almost feels like it's too light because of the fact that there's no weight to it. So it almost seems like, man, where's all the parts? But it is very, very light. It's a good deal. You can hold this thing in your hand all day long, so you'll enjoy that part of it. Let's see what else we want to talk about. They have 3 different color spools in the new Curado. They have a gunmetal, a black, and a silver. The 7.1 to 1 gear ratio has a gunmetal color. This one is the 6.5, so it has the black. And then you have the 5.5 to 1 gear ratio, which is silver. And after looking at some stuff on the internet, it just seems like they did that just so they can make it easier for people to spot them off the shelves, or when you're looking at them, if you have a whole bunch of them, you can notice that, hey, this has got the black spool, so I know it's the 6.5 to 1 gear ratio. So you'll appreciate that if you have multiple Curados and multiple gear ratios. I know that with the last Curado, I wanted the 200 size, and I didn't really appreciate the fact that they only had the 200 size, correct me if I'm wrong, in the 5 gear ratio. I wanted it in the 6, and they came out with it this year, so I really appreciated that. So that's why I jumped on it as soon as I got it. We'll go into this a little bit more, this clutch bar here, but it's there's really not a whole bunch to say about it, but I'll go into it when I open this thing up. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm actually going to open up the reel for you guys so you guys can see what it looks like on the inside, and it looks like I'm going to be close to 10 minutes on this video, so I'm going to go ahead and make that a part 2. So stay tuned for that, and you'll see this reel opened up and see what the guts of it looks like. Thanks.